So, let us start with the usual invocation, or invocatory prayers. Trimurthis, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. And then I spoke briefly about Lord Vishnu and his 10 incarnations. And I spoke about the connection of energy between Vishnu and Shiva that gave to a god called Ayyappan. And then we spoke about Lord Shiva, and we spoke about two separate energies there called Ganesh and Lord Subramanya, Lord Murugan. And then we looked at Lord Ganesha in the second week, going through assessing his forms and symbolisms. Last week, we went on to look at Lord Subramanya, and I explained to you the phenomena or the significance behind this wonderful energy called Lord Muruga, or Shanmuga, or Subramanya, or Kanda, or Kadamba, or Kartikeya, or Guha, call him in any name, that name has a meaning, and if we relate to the meaning, then we have learnt a lesson, right? So this week we are looking at the Trimurthis, namely Brahma, Vishnu and Lord Shiva. Okay, so if you think of Hinduism as a government, right, then these are the ministers who have certain portfolios. Okay, so Brahma has a specific ministry he's in charge of. Lord Vishnu has a specific ministry he's in charge of, and Lord Shiva has a specific ministry he's in charge of. So think of it as them performing a role. Okay? So let's say somebody out here, one of you is working as a teacher. Now in the school you're a teacher, but you're not a teacher at home, isn't it? In the house you play a different role. So when you go out in the office, you play a different role. When you go out with your friends, you play a different role. So you're one person playing different roles. So in the same way, we have many gods that perform different roles. That does not mean we are, as the saying goes, we are believing in many, many gods. There's one God. Ekam sat vipraha bahuda vadanti. That means there is only one God, but people know that God by many names, isn't it? Yeah. So take yourself for example. You may have an official name on your birth certificate, and then in your house you may have a house name, correct? They call you something else at home. Then your friends may have a nickname for you. In the office they may call you in an abbreviated form or some other way. So you are one person with one name, but you are known in different ways to different people. So similarly like that, whatever is it we are looking at, we should be able to relate to our own life, how these gods operate and function at a functional level. So Brahma as a creator, right? Vishnu as the preserver, and Shiva as the end result. Destroyer, determinator, arbitrator, call him what you want. So earlier when you said the Om, all three Murtis are present in the creation of the sound, which starts from here, the diaphragm, from the Mooladhara chakra, Akara, then here, Makara, and M, Makara, Akara, Ukara, Makara, right? Past, present, future. Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, Durga, Lakshmi, Saraswati, right? Day, night, and the period in between, twilight. So everything in threes. So what should start here is Om, should develop, and should be gurgling here, and then you should be, feeling a slight murmuring there, without your mouth being open, so the energy is sustained within. That's Om. A-U-M. Kara, Ukara, and Makara. Right, so let us move on to, so in your daily lives, when you start something, you have to continue until you finish, isn't it? Correct? So when you start, you are doing a creative thing, so that's equivalent to Brahma being active. When you continuously do it, that's Vishnu, which is the sustaining energy. That's the preserving part. And of course, when you end it, that is Rudra or Shiva, meaning you've ended the task. So, in your daily lives, Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva are present. So they are not, a remote concept that we are trying very hard to relate to, or it's too difficult for us to grasp. Right? It's a very simple and easy concept. So, let us look at Brahma. Who knows in what other names Brahma is referred to? What other names does Brahma have?
Non-Mugan.
Non-Mugan means
Four faces.
One with four faces. Right? In Sanskrit is Chaturmukha. What other names do you know of Brahma? Because like I said to you a couple of weeks back, Brahma, Brahman, Brahmam, are three different concepts, right? Brahman is equivalent to Nirguna. That means the God without form. Your final merging is with that Supreme Brahman. Right? Brahma is the God of Creator. If in this life you do not take sufficient efforts or do certain things to improve on the quality of your life and to serve others, then you are virtually living a life of Brahman. Brahman means not alive. Right? You hear sometimes people saying, in Tamil, Brahma Marga. So it means that you are not active, number one, and number two, you are virtually living the life of a dead person or a dead being. It's the same when you say Shivam, and you say Shiva, and you say Shavam. Right? Shivam is equivalent to, Shivam is not Shiva. Shivam is the energy that manifested becomes Shiva. You understand? Just like Brahman, the energy at a Satguna level becomes Brahma. Shivam at a Nirguna level has no form. It's the Supreme Being. And then you bring it to a form, it becomes Shiva. Again, if you don't realize the power of Lord Shiva in the lifetime that you have, then you are basically Shavam. Shavam is corpse, a dead body. Right? Okay, so Brahma is known by many, many different names. I've just picked out some so you can relate to it. So you can see Hiranyagarbha. Right? That means one who possesses a golden womb. A golden womb is not in a physical sense, but a golden womb from a Vedic perspective where the womb is contained with, limitless or boundless knowledge. Nabija. Sometimes you see in the picture of Lord Vishnu lying in the, ocean of milk, and you see from the navel of Lord Vishnu a lotus on which Brahma sits. So that is referring to Lord Brahma as one who is born from the navel. Then you have Kanja. You have Chaturbhuja, 4 hands. You have Aja. Aja means not taken any form in a birth. Right? So, unborn. Swayambhu, which is original or natural. So there are many names like that, and different names will tell you the different qualities they have, or different names will tell you the different functionality of these gods. Okay, so Brahma is known in different names. Let's see, what does he have? Let me go back once. You've seen a picture of Brahma? Okay, so describe him to me now. How many hands? Just now we said one of his names is Chaturbhuja. 4 hands. What else has he got that is 4?
Faces.
4 heads. Okay, 4 heads, 4 hands. Then, what else has he got?
4 legs.
Yeah, how many times you would have looked at Brahma's picture?
White hair. White hair.
Okay, she says white hair. Change your artist. Yeah, white hair. It will come back to white hair. Why white hair?
Lotus.
Okay, he is sitting in a lotus position, but he is sitting also on a lotus.
Yes. With the lotus.
Okay? Now 4 hands. What does he hold in these 4 hands?
One is a lotus.
Lotus.
Okay, one has got a lotus. He holds a book.
Like
Vedas.
the Trimurthi.
Sodi.
Vedas.
Vedas.
Okay. He holds scriptures. Okay? What else? That's 2 hands out of 4. What else does he hold? Okay, I'll make your job easy. Four heads, four hands, he sat on a lotus. His vehicle or vahana is Hamsa. Right? So husband and wife use the same transport. He is Hamsa Vahana and his wife is Hamsa Vahini. Okay? And his Shakti or consort is Saraswati. And I'll come to why Brahma is not worshipped. But in his four hands, on one hand, he holds the Vedic scriptures. On another hand, you will see he's got a rosary bead or japamala. On one hand, he holds the kamandalu. You know, the kamandalu is a little pot with water. You see that? Can you see this? Can you see? That's called a kamandalu. Vedic scriptures. Some it will show him in Abhaya Hasta, some will show him holding a japamala, and some will show him holding a lotus. Okay? So, what do these things mean? So, we are not really interested in the form, because some of you don't even know what the form is. But we want to know what they represent. You know, like a road sign, when you drive, you have to know the road sign, what it means, isn't it? If you have a red color round, you know, and you have a white going across, what does that mean? This is the exact science in religion. Kamandalu means he's trying to tell you something. The Vedic scriptures is trying to tell you something. The Japamala is trying to tell you something. The lotus, holding lotus, he's trying to tell you something. I got four heads, he's trying to tell you what those heads mean. Right? So the first thing before you go for a driving test on the road, you have to pass the... This is the theory that I'm giving you. Practice, you have to do on your own. And whether you pass the test or not, depends how good you have mastered the theory. Right? Because sometimes on the road, the tester may ask you, what does that sign mean? You know. If you see two children on a sign, what does that mean? What does two children got to do with school? In the early days, this sign was not of, two children. It was just fire. Fire meant there is a school nearby. So what's the connection between fire and school? Dangerous. No, don't go to school, dangerous. Fire. No. Fire means light. Light means knowledge. Knowledge means wisdom. Where do you get this? School. That's what it means. In the early days, you will see, a little stick with a fire. Now you see they write school, or they put these two children, signs, so you know there's a school nearby, or school children crossing, So you see how much of information an inanimate object can give you. It's inanimate, right? That signpost does nothing. But everybody who looks at it can relate to it and follow exactly what that signboard is saying. Whereas our gods are not inanimate. They are given life. Especially when you go to temples, I said to you, right? The whole Kumbhabhishekam or the coronation or the consecration is the giving of life. Called prana, which is breath of air. Pratishtabhanaha. Prana, pratishtabhanaha. That means giving life to God. Breathing air into God. Right? If somebody has a problem and suddenly they can't breathe, how do you give them life? Have you heard of artificial resuscitation? You know what's artificial resuscitation? Have you heard of mouth to mouth? So you are basically giving them life through this medium of prana pradishtapana. Take your life and you put into theirs through the medium of air, vayu. Right? So in the same way, all gods, all goddesses, all symbols in the great dharma of ours, which is called Hinduism, has a meaning. It is for us to know that meaning, understand that meaning, relate to the meaning, and more apply that meaning in our daily lives. And if we do that, there won't be a problem. If you follow all the road signs, do you have any problem on the roads? Yes or no? No. But if you break all the rules, you'll have a problem, right? So, for a temporary journey in this life, we follow all the rules. But for a permanent place with Him, we break as many rules as possible. Because one, there are sanctions. There's no sanction. It's up to you. Right? So we choose. Remember, life is a matter of choice. We are where we are because of the choice we made sometime early in our life. And the choice that we make today determines where we will be in the future. Choice. And how is choice? How does choice result? You are always weighing options, isn't it? Should I do A? Should I do B? Should I eat A? Should I eat B? Should I drink A? Should I drink B? Should I wear A? Should I wear B? Right? So you are weighing the options and then you are choosing, okay, I'll go with A. Right? So, making the right choice is important. That's one way of improving your wisdom. Wisdom or jnana. So, where there is no wisdom, there is ajnana. That is why the fire represents light. Because if there is no fire, it is dark. So, light or jyoti represents jnana. Absence of light or darkness represents ajnana. So, the purpose of life or the purpose of the gods doing certain things is to move us from a state of ajnana to jnana. That means from moving from advaitam or moving from dvaitam towards advaitam. That means from duality to non-duality. Okay. So having the focus, and these Trimurthis give us the focus, Ganesh gives us the focus, Murugan gives us the focus. Next week I'm going to look at Durga, Lakshmi, Saraswati. They give us the focus, Brahma gives us the focus, Krishna gives us the focus. So you take any god, they are doing the same thing in a different way. Right? Okay. So 4 heads. What do the 4 heads represent? The 4 heads represent the 4 cardinal directions, which is north, east, south, west, correct? But if you look at our samskars, right? When they do pujas, they have a special part in the puja where they call on the deities guarding the directions. These are called Ashtadik Balakas. Guardian directions of 8 directions. We've got north, east, south, west, and then we've got northwest, southwest, southeast, and northeast. So Brahma represents the directions. He's basically saying, you can approach me from any direction and I will look at you. And that is the purpose of the 4 faces. How more beautiful can someone convey a message? No, it's like telling you, you can call me, you can SMS me, you can email me, you can text me, or you can come to my house. Always you'll reach me, correct? That's what he's saying. The four heads represent the 4 directions. The 4 heads also represent the 4 Vedas, Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda, and Adharvana Veda. And he's telling you, whichever Veda you choose, it will lead you to me. You don't have to know all of them. You just have to know one part of them, just practice that part. The 4 yugas, the 4 yagas, the 4 ashramas, in your life. If you take 100 years as the classic lifespan of a normal human being, which it used to be, now it's questionable whether it is. You divide it into 25 years. So 25 into 100 is, how many 25s do you get? Take your time, I know it's maths. 25, how many 25s go into 100? 4, okay. So the ashramas are 4 ashramas. That's why I said you divide life into 4 years, four parts of 25 years. So the first 25 years, of course now it's a bit different, right? You find people getting married very early, so before 25, they've moved the ashrams. The first 25 years, you are in an ashrama called Brahmacharya. So, from the time of birth until 25, you're doing things on your own, Then, at a certain point in life, you are set to go into the second ashrama, or the second stage of your life. It's called Grahastha. Grahastha means from 1 to 2, like Prakash who said that, right? He was a single man doing things, and then he got married. So he's moved from Brahmacharya to Grahastha. Next 25 years, he'll be working to develop the family, children, and so on and so forth. At least I hope he will. Right? Then from 50 to 75, the third ashrama is called, anyone knows? And then, correct. It's called Vanaprastha. That means you are at the penultimate stage of life. At that time, you are no longer doing the stuff that you're doing. You are retired, you're looking after your children, and that's the worrying stage. You worry about everything else. How long am I going to live? What is going to happen to my wife after I go? What is going to happen to my... that's the worrying stage. And if you traverse that and come to the last 25 years, that's called sannyasa. That's when you should detach yourself. Detach means not leave everybody and go, but detach from the worldly attachments and go within and seek God within. But 99% of people make the mistake of looking for God outside. I told you, if God does not reside within you, He will never reside anywhere outside of you. That is why, to remind you that He is there, we have temples. But you go to the temples to say, from where you are, come within me. And I said to you, you install Him in your heart, facing yourself, facing outwards. And you install Him in your mind, your third eye, facing inwards. So there's a constant connection, Brahmacharyam, Grahastham, Vanaprastha, Sannyasa. 4 stages of life everybody has to go through. Then you have a complete cycle, right? And many people say, I get asked this question quite often. You're so young, why have you gone into spirituality? Wait until you retire, then you can go to all these places. Every time I see you're going for this yatra, this, that, my response is, when I'm young, I have energy, right? So I went to Kailash. I could do it because I was young. I'm talking about 10 years ago. I went to Kailash. The full. Went into Manasarovar, could bathe because I was young. At 70 you can do that? No chance. At 60 you can do that? No chance. Because by then you would have got other things to deal with, like disease. How to do yatra Kailash? I got diabetes. I got pressure. So all the yatras that I've been, 14 years I've been going to Sabarimala. When I'm 60, 70, 80, I can just sit anywhere and close my eyes and do these journeys again, mentally. But if I didn't do that, I can only imagine. And that imagination also will be limited. So I say, when you are young and you are able, go and see these places and do these yatras. Because you don't have to wait until you are 75 and you are retired to do it. Plus, when you are working and you are earning, you can spend your money and do it. When you are dependent on your children, the children say, But no need to go all these places. You just sit here. If you want, go to McDonald's and have a happy meal. Isn't it? Isn't it? So don't make that mistake of waiting until you are, over 65 or 70 years old to go to these places. Go when you are able to, or when you have the desire to go. And then in your later years, you can sit and tell your grandchildren about it, and you can sit and go in your mind. Every single step you'll be able to relate. And that is the beauty of experience and the memory that will keep that memory sustained. So, the four heads also represents the four ashramas. The four heads also represent something called the Purusharthas. In life, you must have this. The four Purusharthas are Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha. Dharma is right conduct. Artha is your worldly possessions. Kama is desire or lust. And moksha is liberation or mukti. So if you divide this, the first two into one category and the second two into another category. So the first two is Dharma and Artha. The second one is Kama and Moksha. Dharma and Artha. Dharma is right conduct. Artha is wealthy possession. So Brahma is telling you, all your wealthy possessions, you must have earned it in the dharmic way. Dharma Artha. Right? If you earn something in an adharmic way, then that karma will operate on you, and how fast you earn is that fast you will lose. Because every action has an equal and corresponding reaction. That is what the Vedas have been shouting. But we prefer to believe Isaac Newton. Is it third law, is it? Or second law? Newton. Every law or every action has an equal and corresponding reaction. 100%. So, Dharma Artha, whatever you have in your life must be earned in the right way. Dharma. Remember I said to you, Dharmo Rakshati Rakshitaha. That means only when you do Dharma, that dharmic act will come and protect you when you are at some form of peril or danger. Then Kama and Moksha. Kama is desire. If you cannot control your desire, you cannot achieve mukti or liberation. How fantastic is that? First, you have to earn everything in life in the right way. Then you have to control all your desires so that you can achieve liberation or mukti. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Four things to guide you in this life, represented by Brahma's four heads. Any questions so far? Then the four hands. As a creator, he holds the Vedic scriptures. He only holds it as a representative symbol, but the actual keeper is someone else. Someone who keeps it for him and then gives it to him whenever he wants it. Have you heard of somebody called Hayagriva? The horse head. He's Hayagriva. He is, let's say, the librarian for Lord Brahma. Put it to you that way. Okay. So he keeps all this knowledge. Right? He's a full house of knowledge, and Brahma just holds the representative. So whatever creative energy you want in the form of creative knowledge, right? You don't pray to the force which is Brahma. You pray to the energy which is represented by his consort or Shakti called. Whose is Brahma Shakti? So he gives you that knowledge. And her knowledge comes from not from herself. Culture and arts, yes. Saraswati is a ministry of culture and arts. But Ministry of Education, as far as Saraswati is concerned, is not her. It's someone called Medha Devi. Medha Devi. And one of Gayatri's name is Medha Devi. So if I can, next week I'll squeeze something in on Gayatri. That's a fantastic resource, Gayatri Devi. But there's too much to say in 1 hour on Durga, Lakshmi, Saraswati and also Gayatri. So we might have to squeeze Gayatri into her own session, given the depth of her symbolisms. Okay? So, we pray to Brahma and Saraswati for knowledge, the beginning of knowledge and the end of knowledge. A japamala or a lotus. Some hands you see japamala, some you will see lotus. What does a japamala mean? You know what is a japamala, right? Anybody has a japamala here? No, it's not somebody holding. Okay, something like that looks like this. So this is patika, but he holds this in his hand. And if you are into mala recitation, there is a way in which you do this japamala. There is a one direction, right? Most people I know do it the wrong way. Okay. So when he holds the japa means to repeat. So what do you repeat when you're holding it? You repeat a mantra. Okay? Correct. You repeat a mantra. What is the purpose of repeating the mantra? Japa ma la. Ma means dirt. La means to remove or cleanse. Japa mala means by continuously repeating the name of God, you are trying to remove or cleanse the dirt or negativity from your life. Brahma is showing you that. This is called also Vishnu Smarana. Completely immersing yourself in bhakti. That is also cleansing yourself. Because remember, everything you do in the name of God is meant to cleanse you. Meant to cleanse your thoughts so you get better thoughts, good thoughts. Meant to cleanse your words so you speak better, more lovingly, more kindly. You may not be able to help someone, but you can speak kindly to that person. It doesn't cost anything. Right? And of course, doing good actions. So that is a process of cleansing, and that is represented by the Japa Mala. Lotus means when you do dharma or dharmic acts, you can blossom like a lotus. Have you seen where the lotus blossoms? Pond. What is the pond filled with? Is it a clean pond with just pure water? No, it's filthy. All kinds of dirt there. But the lotus beautifully comes out, stands out, and blossoms with such fragrant beauty. That is how you should be in your life. Amongst all the dirt, amongst all the negativity, you should stand out and blossom. That is the lotus. That is why you see most gods, they'll hold a lotus. Or they'll be sitting on a lotus, meaning when the lotus is fully blossomed, your spirituality is revealed. Who you are truly comes to light. That is why all the Vedas can be encapsulated in one line. Tat tvam asi, aham brahmasmi, prajnanam brahma, and one more. Prajnanam brahma, tat tvam asi, aham brahmasmi, and one more. I am Atman Brahma. That means saying I am God. Tattvam asi means that thou art. You are God. Prajnanam Brahman means when you go beyond life, you will realize you are Brahman. So all these are saying you and I are no different. Right? Swami said, I know I'm God. You are also God. The only difference is I know, you don't. Same thing Krishna told Arjuna. I know all my countless births, Arjuna. You, in this life itself, you cannot appreciate why you were born, why you are in this state, why you are present here in this battlefield, why you are looking at your guru, why you are fighting your brothers and sisters. So you can't appreciate that. That is the difference between, Atma and Paramatma. As a Jivatma, you must use this Atma to reach Paramatma. That is the very basis of life. Okay? That's Japamala and lotus. Kamandalu, the little vessel with water. All rishis will carry that. Brahma is a creator. He's showing you by having water that he can relate to the concept of creation. And this is where the connection to Vishnu comes. What was Vishnu's first incarnation? First incarnation of Lord Vishnu, first avatar. Matsya avatar, fish. And I said to you, compare this with Darwin's theory of evolution. And he said the first form of life was amoeba. Amoeba is something you find only in water. Right? So the water represents DNA. If you want science, it represents the DNA of creation. Water. And you'll find in every puja or whatever sanskars that we do, water is always a part because it's part of Panchabhutas. 70% of the earth is covered with water, so you must relate in your own body. If you don't hydrate yourself sufficiently well, you're not going to be well enough, isn't it? So having the water, one represents the creative energy, also represents where life was first, identified or begun, also represents your own DNA that you can relate to your creative past. And of course, one hand sometimes shows Abhaya Hasta. Bhaya means fear, Abhaya means why fear? Why fear when I'm here? Okay? Now I sat on a lotus, I've explained to you. A lotus is in a bud form, isn't it? But you don't offer the lotus in the bud form to Lord Vishnu. You see here on Fridays or other days that you come. They will take the bud and then they will open it to make sure it is offered in a blossoming position. So you, when you're born, you are a bud. But your life you must use to such an extent that you blossom in life so that you can make yourself the rightful offering to God. That is why all gods are set on a fully blossomed lotus, because the God within you becomes fully realized from that. Swan, Hamsa, that's his vehicle. When you see a swan, what do you think? In UK there's a law that you can't hunt swans. And you can't, kill swans, you can't eat swans, except for breed. So what is the connection between the swan and Brahma or Saraswati? The connection is, you see the swan, it is fully white, right? Where do you find the swan? In a pond, right? The same pond where the lotus blossoms, right? Correct? But the same pond is filled with filth, dirt. But the swan has the innate ability to put its beak in this filthy water and only extract pure water without the dirt or anything like that. So it's got some kind of filtrization process that when it drinks, it cuts off everything else and only sips in pure water. So it represents the quality of discrimination, viveka. The swan represents viveka or discrimination. So you know that whenever you look at the swan, you must say, let me exercise my own discrimination or my own sense of rationalization that I can distinguish between good and bad. Just like the swan can put its beak into a pond full of dirty water and only sip pure clean water, make my mind like that of the swan. Hamsa. Saraswati is his consort. We'll speak about her next week. And why is Brahma not worshipped? Brahma temples, Shiva temples, Murugan temples, Ganesh temples, Durga temples, Ram temples, Krishna temples, Hanuman temples. But why is there no temple to Brahma? Why? He is such a powerful God of creation and he creates all these good things. Everything that is good in you is created by Brahma. Everything that is bad in you is created by your own thoughts and your own actions because you could not use your discrimination well enough. And if you sustain that act long enough, then you are going to Shiva to say, destroy this for me. Isn't it? You want license, you go to a specific department, correct? You want to build your house, you go to a specific department. Planning division, license division. If you want to open a market stall, You don't go to the planning division. You don't go to the, you go to the other division where they give you license to run the store. If you want to, open a restaurant, then you have to go to the enforcement division or environmental division and get all your paperwork done. So you go to Brahma for certain things, Vishnu for certain things, and Shiva for certain things. Relate to the energy, not to the form. Then you'll be fine. Once you relate to the form, and you get stuck to the form, you forget the lesson, and you will always be stuck to the form. Once you know what is their purpose and you master that purpose, you don't need the form, because you're already focusing on the purpose, the objective, not the form. Right? It is a means to justify the ends, means to the end, or to an end. So there is a story about how ego can bring you down. Ahamkara. Ahamkara means ego. So to show man that even if God had ahamkara, he would be punished. Brahma is not worshipped. So once there was a talk. You see, Shiva really doesn't get involved in this because he's always in a state of meditation. So he's always detached and he's always meditating. And these two guys, they talk a lot. They must have a BT account, so it's good to talk. So once Brahma said, as a creator, I am bigger than you. Vishnu said, no. Whatever you create, if I don't sustain, finish. So they were arguing, who's greater, who's greater, who's greater. And then they said, okay, let's go and arbitrate this matter. Let's go and ask Lord Shiva, who is greater. So when they came to Shiva, Shiva said, whoever touches my head first, he is the greater among the two of you. And instantly he became a Jyotirlinga. You know what is Jyotirlinga? You know Linga, right? When I talk about Shiva, I'll talk about Shivalinga. But the Linga became, it's limitless from the top and limitless from the bottom. So it just, as a light, it just span across. It went upwards and it went downwards. So Brahma said, Hamsa, he got on the Hamsa and he was going up. And Vishnu took his second avatar as this is one of the Puranic significance as well. Okay, there is another reason why he took the second avatar to rescue Bhumi Devi and to rescue, the Puranic treasures. But he took the form of Varaha and he went down. So Brahma was going up, Vishnu was going down. Right? And this was going on, and of course, higher they went and the deeper, the higher Brahma went and the deeper Vishnu went, the light was going endlessly. Vishnu was going, because that is why, one of the reasons why Vishnu went down is to show you that it is always better to be humble and stoop. There's a saying in English, they say stoop to conquer. Have you heard of it? Stoop to conquer. That means if you walk with your head high on a low ceiling, what will happen? You will get injured. But if you stoop each time, you will be walking through with no problem. Now, Brahma was going up and he saw a flower fall. This is called Ketaki flower. Right? And it's a flower that until today is never used in any worship. But it's used a lot in funerals and death rites and rituals. Again, the significance is the same. Right? So this flower was falling down. And Brahma asked the flower, hey, where are you coming from? So the flower said, I have just fallen from the Lord's head. How long ago was this? Oh, only 2 million years ago. So Brahma said, I can't be going on forever. He said, will you do me a favor? You know who I am, right? I am Brahma. Okay? It's like one of those, Asian movies. When you accost them, they'll say, do you know who my father is? Do you know who I am? Anyway, Brahma said, I am Lord Brahma. I am commanding you to come and tell Lord Shiva that I plucked you from his head. Because I have to teach Vishnu a lesson. The flower said, of course you are Brahma, I have to obey your command, right? Now this again, the flower obeying the command of Brahma without using its own mind. Even the flower was cursed. You will never again be used for. So even when someone tells you to do something, remember of this Ketaki flower and exercise your own decision-making capacity. If something is not right, something is not, you're not comfortable with doing it, you can say, no, I don't want to do this, it's not right. So the flower and Brahma came down. Okay. But of course, in the meantime, Vishnu went so far deep down that he saw Lord Shiva's feet. Straight away he touched the feet. Now what happens when someone touches your feet? Or when you touch your elder's feet? You will go down and bring them up, isn't it? When Shiva went to bring him up, Vishnu touched his head. So Vishnu was there with Lord Shiva, and then Brahma came. He said, hey, Vishnu, look, I've got this Ketaki flower. This is evidence that I touched Shiva's head because I plucked it from him. Shiva said, no, you didn't. Because you have lied Brahma, you will not be worshipped on Bhuloka, and everybody will know that even if the gods do not tell the truth, Satyam Vada, Dharmam Chara, tell the truth and do dharmic deeds. Even if the gods do not subject themselves to Satyam or truth, they will face the consequences. So what more evidence you need to be truthful in your life? Sometimes it is difficult, but it is to be done. Right? The person to whom you tell the truth may not appreciate it at the time you are telling, but at some point in their future they will realize, oh, truth is always the truth. The truth can never go wrong. Truth is always the truth. So that is the reason why Brahma is not worshipped. Okay? So again, with every gods, I said I will give you one Mula Mantra, which is one liner, or the Gayatri Mantra, which is a three-liner. So with Brahma, his Bijakshara. Bij means seed, Akshara means sound. Bijakshara means that which creates the sound that relates to that particular deity or power or energy. So if you want to silently meditate on Lord Brahma, and in all the Puranic stories, all the Rakshasas, all the Asuras meditated on Brahma. The great king Hiranyakashipu, right? And Mahisha, yeah? All these fellows, Sumba, Nisumba, Dhumralochana, Raktabija, all these, right? Chanda, Munda, all these Asuras, they all meditated on Brahma and got a boon. But because they didn't use the boon properly, in a dharmic way, they all got destroyed, including Ravana, the greatest most learned person in the entire, Hindu pantheon. But because he did not use his knowledge for the rightful purposes, he met his doom. So even the lesson for us is, if we do not use our mind, our energy, our knowledge, our gift, our qualities, our capacity, our abilities for doing the right thing, serving God's people, then we are going to be born again and given that chance again. As I said, Punarjanma, you will get this birth again and again and again and again. So Om Satchit Ekam Brahma. So you can just meditate in one corner and go Om Satchit Ekam Brahma. But you do a sankalpa first. Why you are doing that 108 times? Okay. I'll tell you about this 108 on another day. 108 is 54 times 2. There are 54 syllables in Sanskrit that relate to a male energy, and there are 54 syllables in Sanskrit that relate to a female energy. So 54 plus 54 is 108. That is why you have all the god forms having 108 names. Ashtotra Shatanamavali. 108 names. So the Gayatri is Om Vedatmanaya Vitmahe, Veda Atmanaya Vitmahe. That means your Atma must live according to Vedic injunctions. Hiranyagarbhaya Dhimahe. Dhanno Brahma Prachodaya. Let me meditate on the God who is the soul of the Vedas, the God who holds the entire world within you, Hiranyagarbha. Garbha means pregnant. So Brahma is Hiranyagarbha, one who holds the entire energy of the world within him, to give me higher intellect. And that higher intellect comes in the form of Brahma, the creative energy within me. So for example, when in work, sometimes you're given a project and you have to come up with something, meditate on Brahma because he's the creative energy. No point praying to Shiva at that point because Shiva's job is to destroy everything that is not good. Correct? So ask Brahma to give you that creative energy. And then if the project comes through, you pray to Vishnu to sustain your success. And if there's something going wrong, something not right, you pray to Shiva to get rid of it. Just like you go to a doctor, he doesn't give you the same medication for every disease, does he? No. Right? If you got pressure, he doesn't give you diabetic medicine. If you're diabetic, he doesn't give you pressure medicine. For different diseases, you have different medication or different treatments. Likewise. Now, I'm looking at the time, it's 1:45. I don't know if I have enough time to go into Vishnu and Shiva. So probably we have to look at it next week. Because I don't want to rush through something. So today, you can take it as though it's, Brahma has decided today is only me. I don't have temples, at least you can dedicate one whole lecture to me, Vignesh, So let us leave it at Brahma today. So next week, I will look at Vishnu and Lord Shiva. And the following week, we'll look at Durga, Lakshmi, Saraswati. And then after that, we'll look at Gayatri. And then I'll look at Navagrahas. That would take us to week 9 or 10. Week 10, we'll look at all the different other symbols, Rama, Krishna, Hanuman, all this Upadevas, and see how they relate. And then after the 10th week, you need to tell me where you are at so that I can plan the continuous journey. Right? If you're still waiting in the same bus stop for the bus to come, others are moving on. They're already on the bus. So you must be on the bus and you must already have started on the journey for us to make it a continuous journey. But it's not so much listening to what I'm saying and then, coming every week and listening again and again and again. It's the next time you see the picture of Brahma, you should remember everything I said and you should pray like that. I hope you have changed the way in which you pray to Lord Ganesh. Otherwise, it's pointless. The moment you see Lord Ganesh, you must be praying to the Ankusha. Use it to guide me. You must be praying to the rope, saying, if I go the wrong way, rope me back. You must pray to the mouse, give me discipline of mind. You must pray to the, tusk. The broken tusk, sacrifice. The trunk, discrimination. Big ears, listening more, small mouth, talking less, big mind, lateral thinking. You start praying like that and you'll see how much more you relate to God. Whereas if you just pray, there is no content, There's no context. The prayer must have context. The same thing with Lord Murugan. When you look at the Ved, say, give me the sharp intellect, give me the broad-mindedness and give me the depth of character. Every week you go and pray to him, he'll give you that. If you say, give me 2 wives like him, then he might also give you that, but you might have problems. So don't ask God for something you cannot handle. Yeah. A lot of people ask for money. But the other day I was reading, the national lottery started in 1993 in this country. 1993, 1994. The national lottery? Sounding yes there, take it every week without fail, right? But God still hasn't opened his eyes, Remember what I said, not what you get when you ask, but when you deserve it, you will get it even without asking. 84% of the people who've won the lotteries have had their lives completely changed. 84% changed for the worse. Only 16% are enjoying a better quality of life. That means 84% do not know how to deal with money. No, I'm being very serious, right? 16% who know how to handle the money, Lakshmi is still keeping them. Right? But if you have too much of money and you don't know what to do, you do all kinds of things, the money, Lakshmi will go. Sri Devi will go and she'll send her other sister to you. So you need to ask God something that will help you take you that bit further, that bit further, that bit further. Right? That is why I said, when I speak about Durga, Lakshmi, Saraswati, I'll say 3 ways to Durga during Navaratri is to empty. Khalify me. Empty me of all these bad habits, bad thoughts, bad words, bad qualities. Then next 3 days to Lakshmi, fill me up with the wealth of character, good thoughts, good words, good actions, all this. Then I can go to 3 days of Saraswati and say, fill me up with knowledge, not worldly knowledge, not material knowledge, but Atmic knowledge, so I can transcend from this life and join you. Only when you have spent those 3 nights in the right way, you are entitled, you are qualified to spend the 10th day, which is Vijaya Dashami. Vijaya means victory, Dash means 10, Ami means day. Victory on the 10th day, or Dashera. Dashera. The 10th day. You can dance the dance of victory. Say, I have mastered. At least one quality you've killed. Bad quality. At least one quality you've installed in yourself that is good quality, and at least something that you've not learned previously, you've learned so that you can apply in your life. Then you celebrate the 10th day. Otherwise, don't go for this Garba. Because everybody dances. They don't know why they are dancing. Yeah, honestly. You can do this research yourself. Just go to Navaratri Garbhas this year and ask them, why are you dancing? So, you paid your fees, right? Enjoy the food, dance and go. And if you are young, not married, you find a suitor. Boys look for girls, girls look for boys, then contact your parents. That's what is happening. You laugh. That is what is happening. I was chased out of one place because they said, you are trying to create trouble here, get out. 2 big guys came. So don't think Kumbhakarna is dead. He's still alive. He just takes the different form of security guards and bouncers. Right? So we'll end with Brahma today, and we will continue next week with Vishnu and Shiva. Any questions so far?
Yes, sir. If you've got time, could you please describe why Brahma is depicted as an old person sometimes?
Okay. Good question. This comes to your white hair. Okay? Will you ask for advice to a young person, good-looking person, or to an old man with beard, long hair? You look at all the rishis. You will naturally be attracted to, because they say the more older you get, the more wiser you become, right? So the long hair and the long beard is meant to show the long journey that you have made from ajnana, lack of knowledge, to jnana, which is wisdom. So it cannot be gotten overnight, basically. That's why the gods are like that. Vishnu is always young and opulent. Shiva is always detached. You see, Vishnu is fully, he is opulence personified, rich. All kinds of gold, clothes, nice silk. They say if you go to Tirupati, you must wear silk and gold. But you look at Shiva, there's nothing. Only a tiger skin, and I'm sitting on a tiger, I'm meditating. So one is, you can live this life like this, but at the end of the day, by the end of your life, you must change from fully materialistic to spiritual. So they all represent a lesson, no more and no less than that. Once we relate to it, then it's fine. Okay, so we just sing a short bhajan to Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva, and then we can end with 3 Oms. Jaya Guru Omkara, Jaya Jaya Satguru Omkara.